Keeping in tune with what we talk about these players, let's move on now to podcast players. I know we got tons of them out there, guys, and it depends as to who you're talking to. Some would say, hey, I prefer the addict. You want to be an addict, you can go with the addict. No pun intended here. If you prefer something in your pocket, you go with pocket casts and stuff like that. And, John and I tend to be liking something we demonstrated here a little while ago. We got Antennapod, we got the Audios Play. And so we got lots of great stuff here, guys, really, when it comes to podcasts. And Sally, you may be using your Spotify also as your podcast catcher. Of course, there's a tune in there as well. So let's talk about these, guys. Which ones do you prefer when it comes to catching those pods?
Well, for me, I'm going with Spotify, as you said. Yeah, it really is doing a lot way better than the apps that I tried. I mean, Podcast Addict is really nice. I was using it, but since Spotify has podcasting support, they are really doing a great job. Some of the podcast, if it supports, I can read the subtitles or the transcriptions of it. This is a really great thing. So I'm going with Spotify. But of course, Podcast Addict is a great app.
I'm going with Antennapod. That's what I've been using for a few months now, if not a year. But it's a very customizable app, but you can make it. I like a simple interface, but I also like a lot of customization. So you can actually make it as simple as you want. Like, for example, I just have one tab that is my podcasts, which is just like a grid view of the podcasts ordered by most recent. And then I have an episodes tab, which is just episodes of all the podcasts in one list, ordered like most recent at the top in a list. And then I have like a third tab that's just like search for a new podcast. And of course, you can have as many, there's all kinds of other tabs you can add or remove. And the interface is it's good with one exception. The thing is, when you bring up the full screen media player and you're trying to explore by touch, sometimes the talkback focus gets behind the player and is on whatever screen was behind it. So that's slightly annoying. But I mostly just swipe through the controls, so it doesn't bother me too much. So I did want to mention that as one fallback, which, to be honest, I have not even reported this issue. I should have reported it because I don't even know. They might be receptive to fixing it. It might be an easy fix, but I just haven't gotten around to it for whatever reason. But yeah, that's my vote, Antennapod.
I do want to mention here, though, that for me, when I'm looking at a podcast catcher, for example, there are two things that stand out. Does it support chapters? We got chapters in our podcast. You don't like a particular chapter, you want to skip to the next chapter, for example. And Antennapod, supports that. And another thing is whether or not something syncs across devices with your other devices. These are probably two key areas that I look for. And then the third one would be like a video support, for example. Whether or not such a player supports video podcasts, for example. And so for me, when I'm looking at a podcast catcher, these are probably some of the three that come to mind as to whether or not they support that. And Antennapod supports chapters, and we demonstrated that like maybe a year or so ago, maybe almost a year and a half, I don't remember. I like that, and it's very cheap, right? John, is maybe like $1. I don't remember. Another thing is that this is an open source. For those of you open sourcers out there that you prefer open source type apps, this one fits the bill because it's totally open source, for example. So if you're into open source type apps, this would be your place. Antennapod, for example, is an open source, and you'd be happy with it. I don't remember how much the it has a subscription or one-time payment. I don't remember. I know the free one gives you up to like 100 podcasts that you can add to it, and I think for me that's plenty enough, right? Or is it 10? I think it's like 100. John, you remember
I
the free?
I don't know. I don't remember paying for anything. So, and I have more than 10 podcasts, so it must be 100.
Yeah, I think it's like 100, but I don't know. I wouldn't have 100 podcast categories necessarily, but so, and I know I like Pocket Casts, and it's always been the one I have for a long time. However, some things you need to pay in order to be able to do XYZ. I think Chapters falls into that category. I don't remember if that's still true. And I also use Audios, and Audios, the reason why I like it because it supports like other TV stations. For example, Newsmax is a TV station that I like, and that's the only one that supports that. I can find it in there and be able to listen to that TV station. So if I'm to cast mine, I think I'll be going with Antennapod. Karine, how about you? I know that we got the Spotify kid out there, and one of the weaknesses of the Addict is that it doesn't sync across devices, and I don't know why it hasn't been done as of yet. So I think for me, I go with Antennapod. Karine?
Well, I have no vote because it's also a category that I don't even have information about. I mean, I have never tried any of those. So
since you're one of the hosts here in this podcast, you don't listen to podcasts.
Well, that doesn't work because we have a YouTube channel, and we also have a player. So when I need to, when I need to watch a podcast, if I need to, I go to the website and see if there's a player there, and I use this way only.
So from the look of it, rather, I think Antennapod will be the one that we vote for, right? Because and then second place, should we give it to the Addict or the Pocket Cast? I think I'll give it to the Pocket Cast because Pocket Cast synchronizes across devices.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. And so the third place would go to the Addict. If you truly want to be an addict, you go with that one. How about the fourth place?
I don't know what's going on. We are going mad.
Why does Sally's vote not count for much? He said Spotify, and this thing's falling to fourth place.
Guys, what caught my attention is first we're gone mad and we are addicted. Then what's next?
Gone mad and addicted. I love that. Yeah, that would be, what we think. And like we said, these things are very subjective, but then there's certain things that make certain ones stand out. So it all depends. For me, like I said, it boils down to three things. It has to support chapters, it has to sync across devices, and the third one will be that it supports video casts and all of that, video podcasts and all of that. So for me, that's what that boils down to.